Had anyone hinted to me, at 77 years of age, that a care facility would become the setting where I'd grasp some of life's most impactful revelations, I'd have likely given a gentle grin and waved off the notion. I was certain I'd encountered all there was to see. I assumed that by this point existence had already unveiled its full array of teachings, but I couldn't have been more mistaken. A brief span of 2 months in that environment, amidst unfamiliar souls, stillness, and narratives stretching back beyond memory, reshaped me in ways I hadn't foreseen. I arrived there to mend my body, unaware that I'd leave with a deeper restoration, a renewal of the soul, a fresh lens on time, connections, remorse, and the core of living. When you're seated among individuals nearing the end of their journeys, your ears tune in differently. You begin to discern what's vital and even more so, what's trivial. I crossed paths with men and women who'd relinquished all they once held. Some had only their past to cling to. Others bore the burden of sorrow from 5 decades prior, yet a few had uncovered tranquility in life's humblest offerings. In those subdued exchanges and sleepless nights of introspection, I stumbled upon 7 insights I wish I'd embraced far sooner. Today, I'm eager to pass them on to you. Rather than kicking off at the start, I'll launch from the finish, as it's often the closing lessons, those gained latest, that carve the most lasting impressions. So whether you're 70, 60, 35, or just starting to ponder your purpose on this planet, I ask you to linger with me a while. Let's chat about existence. Let's explore what holds true weight. Let's dive into what I regret not realizing before the clock nearly ran out. Don't squander it. I still recall that morning vividly. Dawn had barely broken, the sun lingered below the skyline. A staff member slipped in, drew the drapes with care and breathed softly. He slipped away in his sleep. She meant a fellow I'd dined with the evening prior. He'd been spinning yarns, and we'd shared laughs. He poked fun at the coffee's lack of kick, saying, "Life's a strange thing, huh?" Then he flashed a grin. And like that, he was no more. No heads up, no last remarks, no moment to bid farewell. That incident jolted me in a way words can't capture, for it drove home a truth we all nod to but rarely embrace. The next day isn't guaranteed. We toss around phrases like "life's brief," don't we? Yet few of us act as if we buy it. We dawdle, we delay. We convince ourselves that trips for next summer, that call to our sons for Saturday, that rift will heal down the road. But down the road isn't penciled in anywhere. I let years slip by, banking on extra hours, hours to reconcile, to cherish, to truly be alive. Time, though, is the one thing you can't reclaim. If I could rewind, I'd savor life without hesitation. I'd not put off saying I'm proud of you or I adore you or chasing contentment. So I urge you now, plain as day, every day's a blessing, even the routine ones, especially those. Rising without ache, watching the heavens shift shades at dusk, hearing your grandkid giggle, sipping warm tea with both hands, that's living. That's the wonder. If your lungs draw breath today, if your pulse keeps time, you've got something invaluable. Don't let it slip away. Dial that number you've been meaning to, stroll that path, voice what's unsaid, beam at someone dear. For one day your chances will run dry, and when that day dawns, all you'll crave is one more plain, precious day. There was a lady a few rooms away, 82 years young, quick-witted, with a tender tone and eyes brimming with untold tales. She mostly kept her own company, but one rainy afternoon as we gazed out the window together she confided, "I haven't talked to my brother in over 40 years. I stayed quiet, just taking it in." She stared at her palms and added, "He died last spring. I never reached out. I figured there'd be time." Then she murmured something unforgettable. I thought my distance would hurt him, but it only broke me. Her voice carried a pang of remorse, a load she couldn't shed. That's when it clicked. Letting go isn't about declaring the other side faultless. It's about keeping pain from scripting your future. I too once gripped old grudges tight. Disputes long faded, times I felt wronged or overlooked, folks who cut deep and never owned it. But in that care home, amid souls lugging decades of resentment, I saw its toll. Holding spite doesn't shield you, it corrodes you. I met a man who'd cut ties with his daughter for 12 years. Daily he'd watch the entrance, praying she'd step through. The door never budged, nor did his spirit. Cling to old scars too long, and they harden into barriers. Barriers between you and calm. Between you and those you still care for, even if pride won't let you say it. One evening, alone, I mulled over everyone I needed to release, and those I hoped would release me. I set it free, not for them, for me. I didn't want to leave this world weighed down. I craved lightness, liberty, peace. So if someone's on your mind, Someone who wounded you, let you down, or just faded away. Don't linger. Pen that note, place that call, say I'm sorry or I release you, even if they don't echo it back. Letting go isn't their reward, it's yours. And serenity trumps stubbornness any day. There was a woman named Clara who lived just 2 doors down from me. She was 85, petite, but, she had this warmth that just lit up the whole corridor. Every morning, right at 7, she'd settle by her window with a cozy quilt over her knees, holding a mug of peppermint tea, and she'd be humming some familiar tune. There wasn't a hint of worry on her brow, just this calm, peaceful look. One day I asked her, "Clara, how do you manage it? Staying so at ease, so delighted?" She just grinned as if it was the most obvious thing in the world and said, "I quit searching for joy in what's gone. I found it in what remains." That simple truth, well, it struck me like a thunderbolt. I realized I'd spent so many years doing the exact opposite, chasing after triumph, thinking happiness was out there in achievements, in ticking off ambitions, collecting more stuff, getting more recognition, a bigger house, a fancier car, more money, more respect, more applause. I used to be proud of all that. But then, there I was, in a sparse little room with hardly any belongings, and I saw that none of it brought lasting happiness. It didn't comfort me when loneliness crept in. It didn't keep me company through those long nights. It certainly didn't spark laughter the way Clara's gentle humming did. I'd watch her just delight in the steam rising from her mug, the comfort of a wool scarf, a song on the radio, or the birds landing on the ledge outside. It really made me wonder how much joy I'd skipped over, always waiting for life to be grand enough to feel grateful. Society keeps telling us we need more to be content. More things, more adventures, more wins. But honestly, I've learned the opposite is just as true. Sometimes less is plenty. It lets us notice what's always been here. The sound of laughter down the hall, the smell of supper cooking, the comfort of a phone call from someone who still remembers you. That's where real joy lives. Not ahead, not behind, but right here, right now, if you let it be enough. Clara showed me that joy doesn't burst in with a parade, it sneaks in, soft and steady, in warm blankets, hot tea, and a heart that's open to the present. These days when I wake up, I take a deep breath, look outside and give thanks, not for perfection, but for a life that's still my own. True joy isn't in what we own, it's in what we notice. Start noticing and you'll realize you've been surrounded by joy all along. There's a gift, that you just don't fully appreciate until it's gone. And that's self-reliance. When you're young or just able enough, it's easy to miss. You walk across a room without thinking, grab a drink of water in the middle of the night, pick out your clothes, decide what you'll eat, where you'll go, when you'll rest. It's as natural as breathing, so normal you hardly notice it's a gift at all. But in that care home I met folks who hadn't managed those simple things in years. People who couldn't get up without help, who had to press a buzzer and wait for someone just to take care of private needs. It wasn't just frustrating for them, it was, heartbreaking. There's a quiet grief in asking for help with things that used to come so easily. A kind of mourning, not for lost things, but for lost identity. There was one man, George, who'd coached college football. Tall, strong, proud. He showed me an old photo once, arms folded, whistle around his neck, standing right there in the middle of a big stadium. Now he needed others just to get out of bed. He told me, "The toughest part isn't the help, it's remembering who I used to be." That really stuck with me. We don't often realize how much of who we are is tied to our independence, our ability to choose, to steer our lives the way we want. It's a treasure we don't value until it's slipping away. I'm not saying this to worry you, I'm saying it to wake you up a bit. If you can still walk on your own, cook your own meal, drive to the store, tie your shoes, or feel a warm shower running down your back, you're luckier than you know. Don't let that go unnoticed. Take care of your body, not just to look good, but to stay free. Keep your mind sharp, not just for cleverness, but for independence. Most of all, appreciate the little freedoms you still have. Once they're gone, you'll miss them more than you can imagine. We all chase after wealth, status, comfort, but self-reliance. That's the quiet treasure most folks overlook until it's too late. So today, move with gratitude, make your choices with care, and remember, freedom of choice is a rare blessing. Protect it and never take it for granted. Lesson 5, Possessions Fade in Value. In my youth, I toiled tirelessly. I started with next to nothing, vowing to craft a life brimming with all I'd lacked, and I succeeded. I secured a sprawling house with a vast lawn, stocked it with fine pieces, oak desks, plush carpets, armchairs exuding affluence. Wardrobes overflowed with unworn threads, a shed brimmed with tools I'd never touch, crates of essentials stashed in corners and lockers. It felt like triumph, evidence I'd carved out a name. But now I dwell in a modest nook, just a cot, a stand, a seat. My world pared down to a couple of drawers and a shelf, the rest? Donated, discarded, dimmed from mind. And here's the kicker, I don't yearn for it, the jackets, the china, the trinkets, the frames I once couldn't release. I've come to see a truth we all face eventually, the hoard we amass doesn't tag along when we depart. I met residents who'd once brimmed with riches, manners, investments, wings of homes they never roamed. Now, like me, they fit in a space no bigger than a guest house. Not one dwells on what's lost. They speak of souls, of instances, of emotions, not acquisitions. We mistake ease for purpose, chasing the next shiny prize, the next step up, hoping it'll patch some void. But the void isn't in the dwelling, the wardrobe, the garage, it's in the spirit. Only affection, bonds, and recollection can mend that. If I could counsel my past self, I'd urge him to ease up. Quit collecting, start living, invest less in objects, more in moments. Snap more shots with loved ones, fewer of stuff I'd forget. Fill my space with cheer, not just decor. At the close, when the guests depart and you're alone with your musings, you'll ponder, did I make them feel cherished? Did I craft something lasting? Will they recall me for my heart or my holdings? Age sharpens this. Most of what you deemed vital isn't, and what you glossed over is. If you're still piling up goods, ask, are you saving space for what counts? One day, like me, you might sit in a still room with little, and see you never needed much. Just love, time, and folks who made your days rich, not your racks. Possessions fade, but the bonds and memories we forge endure. Lesson 6. Vitality outweighs riches. Edward was among the first I met upon arriving. A refined, courteous soul, always sporting a pocket watch, never missing a please or thank you at meals. His manner hinted at past prominence, and rightly so. Edward had been a tycoon overseeing firms holding land across counties, jetting to Asia annually, teeing off at elite courses, piloting vehicles I'd only glimpsed in ads. He'd amassed what many chase lifelong. But now, he couldn't grip a spoon solo, needed aid to dress, rolled in a chair, and often gasped mid-sentence. One day by the window I asked softly, do you miss it, the high life, the trips? His gaze met mine and his words stuck, not the life. I miss a sturdy frame. I'd trade every cent to shuffle to the sink alone. That single line taught me more than any lecture ever could. We pursue riches like they're the prize, grind to the bone, hoard, stake, trade rest, kin, even vigor for stability, success, comfort. Money's not nothing. It opens doors, offers options, builds buffers. But when your body falters, cash can't rewind it. It won't restore your stamina, gift you fresh lungs, shield your ticker, ease your joints, or steady your grasp. I met folks there flush with funds but drained of might, and others with scant means who could still roam, grin, bask in a sunlit breeze. I envied the latter more. Your world shrinks with time, not fixating on bank balances but on rising unassisted. I once dodged rest, meals, moments with my brood, all to stack a future. But what future's that if your frame can't bear it? I'd treasure vitality now. Move more, eat wiser, fret less, heed my body's hints before they roar. If you can still stride, stretch, hoist your arms, sway while the tea steeps, don't shrug it off. Riches may unlock gates, but vitality lets you cross them. Tend to yourself, now, not tomorrow. No empire matters if you're too frail to savor it. Vitality trumps riches, and no fortune can reclaim it once it's lost. Isolation is the deepest affliction. I've witnessed isolation's toll. Not the fleeting kind from a solo evening, but the sort that seeps into your core, makes walls feel tighter, lingers across days, months, even years. It's not always from solitude, it's from being overlooked. In that care home, I met souls unvisited for seasons, some for decades. William shared he hadn't seen his son since his 75th year. He was 87 now. His tone stayed steady, but his eyes wavered. A lady fixed her gaze on the entry every Sunday at 2, donning the same cardigan. Years back, her daughter vowed to stop by post-service. She primped and waited weekly. No one came. What pierced me most was their grace. They didn't grumble, didn't rage, just hope. For a ring, a note, a sign they weren't erased. That's when it sank in. Aging's cruelest sting isn't the aches, the pills, the limits. It's feeling the world's rolled on without you. You can offer meals, a tidy bed, top care, but if someone feels unseen, no tonic heals that. Isolation doesn't flash on scans or charts, yet I saw its marks daily. Dulled gazes, slumped frames, voices once lively now hushed, hunger waning, spirits dimming. Studies like one from AARP in 2023 note over 30% of US seniors face chronic loneliness, raising health risks. Nobody says it loud, but isolation erodes, slowly, silently sapping will, hope, drive to rise. I once thought hard work, provision, independence sufficed. Now I see the calls I skipped, the feasts I sped through, the pals I let fade. Those are my true regrets. We're not wired to trek alone, we need witness voice memory. If you've got folks, reach them. Show up, scribble the card, share the snap. Visit your kin even if they brush it off. Lunch that old buddy. Rekindle with cousins, awkward or not. One day, you or they won't be here. Just quiet or tales remain. I once figured isolation hit those who didn't try. Now I know sometimes a simple "you're not forgotten" saves someone. It's not just age's shadow, it's a rushed world symptom. And mending it starts with us. Don't delay, don't presume. Dial, text, knock. If you're the one fading, reach out. Seek chatter, seek presence. At life's end, beyond cures or coins, we crave one thing: to feel loved, valued, never alone. What these insights truly reveal is that honestly, connection is at the heart of a life well lived. It's not the accolades or the things we gather, but the warmth we share and the bonds we tend even as the years slip by. 2 months, that's all it took. 2 months in a care home to view life not as I'd pictured, but as it stands. Those halls, holding over 1.3 million US seniors per 2023 National Center for Health Statistics data, brimmed with more insight than countless tomes. They cradled hurt, yes, but also clarity, quiet, yes, but also sagas. They showed me stark and true what counts in our fleeting span. We chase riches, prestige, ease, stuff homes with goods, days with tasks, minds with baseless frets, but at the close, none linger. What endures are quiet choices, hands clasped, giggles swapped, mercy granted, moments spun unseen. I once dreaded aging, seeing it as loss of vigor, hours, liberty. It's partly so, but it also bestows, sharpens sight, unveils truth, strips noise to show life bare. You feel each tick, each call, each breath's worth. You quit proving, start being. If you're mid-journey, bustling, gazing forward, pause. Take these 7 gifts, not cautions, but guides. Let them steer you now, not later. If your years are many, your steps slowed, know this: it's not over. Not for mercy, not for love, not for mirth, not for reclaiming yourself. Life's not tallied in seasons, but in instants. Shaped by the warmth you share, the calm you find, the souls you walk with, if only briefly. Craft memories, not delays. Speak the unspoken, feel the unfelt, and never, ever discount a day. Thank you for joining me, for hearing me. If this stirred you, perhaps it's not too late to stir another.